everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we are continuing with our fantasy save file, and you probably have seen the new trailer for the new expansion pack for The Sims 4, which is Enchanted by Nature. In this trailer they showed a Hobbit house, and I might have let myself be inspired by that just a little bit, so I tried to make a Hobbit house myself. I did not try to recreate the house, so mine does look a little bit different. I just tried to do my own spin because, well, their house already exists, so it wouldn't really make sense to recreate that. Here I'm just trying to do my own version of that. So I started on this lot where I will not stay because it is quite small, and I started with the general shape, basically just putting a few rooms down and then trying to mimic the shape of a hobbit house with a few roof pieces, and then I put some round windows in. These are from Realm of Magic, and then since I did not have a round door, I tried to mimic the look with a couple of other build pieces. I also added these little things on the top to kind of like support the roof structure. But I will delete some of those later. I then decided that this house needs a little bit more dimension because it was quite flat, so I added these one by one rooms, kind of as more like bigger columns, and then I just extended these with a few half walls so they would actually reach the roof. Here I'm still trying to figure out how the shape should be, so a lot of resizing and just trying to get closer to the shape little by little. So yeah, it took me quite a while to get to a shape that I liked. Since I've never done anything like this, it was quite difficult. I also put these two little lamps right next to the door, and I painted the area around the door a different color to make this area stand out a little bit more. But I wanted everything to be that warmer brick color, so I chose a different wallpaper for that area again. Yeah, and then I just added a little barrier between that and the upstairs part, since I cannot just paint that part of the windows. Then I curved the roof like that to make it a little bit more even with the ground at the end, because it didn't look right to me before, so I just had to redo everything basically. But I think it's totally worth it. It looks a lot better like this. And then I'm just placing some lamps in here. Don't worry, I will replace these. It's just so I can see what I'm doing. And I also placed a couple of arches. I put everything on a platform so the roof would clip a little bit less in the back. And to accommodate that, not on a platform, but just I raised everything up by one. And then to accommodate that and have everything be on one floor, I also raised up the front door by putting a step basically in front of it between those two fake columns / rooms that I have previously created. Now we're already starting on the inside, and I tried to fill up those columns that I had here and try to make good use of the space. And then since this is the entrance, I kind of wanted some furniture that you would usually see in an entrance, so just a place to hang your clothes and a bench. And then I also added a little back door so you could also exit the house through the back. Since the roof was kind of in the way in the back, I had to edit the roof a little bit to make it work, and I tried to hide it just a little bit. So yeah, tell me in the comments if you think I pulled it off or not. Then I'm returning to the entrance room, just adding a little bit more details. I added kitchen counters in these little column areas, and then I found out if you layer this horse ranch chandelier with another one, you can have a slightly fancier chandelier, which I really like because I like the small one. I prefer it over the big one, but I don't like that it only has 4 candles, but you can have 8 if you just put 2. So yeah, that's what I did. Yay! Then, since this room does not have any windows, I put a little vent in the corner. I did not do this for all the windowless rooms, but yeah, I did it here, so yeah. And then we're just adding some more clothes, just hanging them on here on the side. And I tried to do a built-in thing with the column, but it didn't work with the wallpaper because I wanted the corner to be there of the wallpaper, so I scrapped that. Alright, now we're moving on to the dining room slash kitchen. Right now it is still separated, but I will remove that wall in just a second. And I decided, since I have that gorgeous window there, I wanted a window seat, so I just placed 3 of those ottoman of the horseradish pack there. We're just putting some pillows down. And then I noticed this area is a little bit cramped, like it's very small. I'm making the house a little bit bigger, and because I did that, I also have to adjust all of the roof pieces again. This is not the last time I'm doing this. And then putting the table in the middle so it's centered. I tried to put the basket of cozies here, but it won't stay, because later on I decided I wanted this nook to be built in, so I changed it a little bit, and I think now that I'm watching this footage back, it looks a lot better when it's built in, so trust me, it will look better in a second. Here I've started putting down some counters for the kitchen, which we will return to in a second. So yeah, I started by moving in the bench just a little bit, and then I tried to find something that would just use up like half of these tiles, so I didn't lose too much space, and I used these for now, but I will change those to the horse ranch closets. They just had the perfect size. And then on the top I just added some half upper cabinets. Alright, then we are moving on to the kitchen. I'm starting by putting in some appliances. We already have a trash can, and now we're putting in the oven. I wanted this to be a little bit grand, so I added some columns and a different wallpaper, and then I sized up a hood to fill up the entire area. But then I didn't like that it was on that wall, so I moved it to the other wall later on, which made the columns glitch a little bit. So if you prefer the other way, feel free to change it in your build, because you can totally download this build. I put it on the gallery. Then I switched the trash can with the fridge, so the fridge had more space because it was quite cramped in that area over there. And I also put in a sink, of course, and some upper cabinets, which do not match the lower cabinets, but I didn't like the upper cabinets that came with the cottage living set. Then just popping in some curtains and some planties that will definitely die there because they don't have any light. But let's just pretend maybe they're plastic, okay? You never know. And then I'm replacing the appliances with the one from Realm of Magic, because they are quite magical. And I never use these, so it was a great opportunity to use these here. Then I tried to find a rug, and I found this one which matches pretty well with the curtains. And now we are moving on to the living room, which is exactly on the opposite side of the dining and kitchen. Yeah, so I also made this a little bit bigger. I put in 2 couches and Anyway, I tried to make it cozy. I tried to replicate the built-in look that I did on the other side, but I didn't like it, so I just removed it all again. But I did reuse the same curtains. Now I'm just adding a little bit of detail to the kitchen area, so just putting some clutter on some of the counters. I left one open so your Sims can cook there, don't worry. And then also putting some string lights, because layers are always nice. I love details. I think they make everything look a little bit more lived in and realistic. So I'm just putting them everywhere, in every corner where I think it fits. Then I also put these kills next to the couch, and I also placed a piano and a bar into the living room, so there are some skill activities for your Sims to do, and I thought it was quite nice for someone to play the piano while other people were sitting on the couch maybe. Now I'm just also plantifying the entrance area, because you can never have too little plants, in my opinion. I know they would die there as well because there's no window, but maybe it's magical plants, okay? Just don't think about it. Then in the back room I decided to put a tiny study, since this is also kind of a hallway because it has 4 doors on every side of the room. It was a little bit hard to fit everything in, but I used the hidden bookshelf door for the bedroom on the one wall to incorporate the bookshelves a little bit nicer, and then I placed a desk next to the door of the bathroom, which was a little bit smaller because I didn't want the open thingy there for obvious reasons. And then I also snuck in 2 more windows for just a little touch of light. Here I'm doing the bedroom. I used that gorgeous bed, which I never get to use, but it's so pretty and I love it. And then I obviously put some little nightstands next to it and some candles on top of that. I left the bedroom a little bit dark. If you don't like that, feel free to change it, but I thought it was pretty cozy. And then I also put in a cupboard, a mirror, and a plant, obviously, because you always need the plant and another plant, because why not? If there's space for 2 plants, you should definitely put 2 plants. Then I used this cute little wallpaper from Cottage Living in the white swatch. Yeah, and just adding some books. Maybe they brought some from the study room / library / hallway with them to the bedroom for some good night reading or something. And then I also added these plant curtains on top of the curtains of the living room and dining room. I thought it looks pretty cute. If it's too much for you, that's totally fine. Now we're moving on to the bathroom. And since this bathroom is very big for my standards, I tried to get rid of some of the space by using arches and tiny rooms basically. So I did a built-in nook for the bathtub, and I did a huge sink with some counters, the new counters that came in the recent update. Yeah, to make it like luxurious but not too luxurious, like it's still supposed to be the Tudor style, like humble but like grand, you know, but not too grand. I hope you get what I'm trying to do here. And plant. I also added this picture here and this side table just because I didn't know what else was there, to be honest. So yeah. And then on the back patio I put this flower thing. What's it called? And then clutter for realism and lived-in-ness, I guess. Yay! I also added a curtain to the picture. I don't know if this is a good idea or not. Also, I decided that the lot it was previously on was too small. I mean, here's a side-by-side comparison. You can see there is little to no space left on the other lot, so I put it on a bigger lot. I tried adding beams to this middle hallway, but I didn't like the thing that they did in the middle, and I tried a few things to avoid that, but it didn't work, so I just ended up putting just 1 beam, which is fine. And then I tried to find a paint that would match the top side of the roof and failed, which is gonna have to live with the fact that the roof is not the same color as the grass and just pretend that it was. I tried a couple of things to fix that. none of them worked, so I hope you don't hate the color too much. Now we are starting with the outside area, which took me a surprisingly long amount of time. I mean, I've used like half of the time that I spent building this just for the outside. I mean, it is a big lot, so it kind of makes sense, but still, I definitely underestimated how much work the outside would be. It took me forever to find this table with the flower arranging thing. I don't know why. I already forgot where it's at, but I added it, so yeah, I just wanted a few more activities outside, and I thought it made sense to put them in the front. Yeah, I mean, I mostly used the front and side of the yard area, basically. I did put the house quite far back because it just it looks so giant, even though it's very small. But I don't know, it's because of the roof, I think, the roof pieces that I added on the side, that it looks so huge. So I did want it to be a little bit further back. And then I added this lake. I needed a couple of attempts to get it to be a shape that didn't look completely stupid and looked like something, I don't know. So yeah, watch me struggle with that as well. And then I added this gorgeous weeping willow from Cottage Living. I did use quite a lot of Cottage Living, so if you would like to download this book and you don't have Cottage Living, I don't think you will have much fun with this, unfortunately. I really love Cottage Living for these kind of medieval style builds, which are like a little bit whimsical and cutesy and like, oh, it feels so well. So I would definitely recommend using that pack if that is your style. I tried using this thing to do a pavilion. I couldn't make it work, so I just built my own. So yeah, just figuring out the general shape, replacing everything with column and spandrels, putting a fence on top to make a roof, just deleting the roof that was still there to get the shape of the pavilion, and then just adding a table underneath and some dirt, and then I just put a couple of plants on top of the pavilion to just have it all covered, and it looks really pretty in my opinion. And then I also put a little lamp in the middle of the table in case you were out at night, maybe eating at that table. You might be, so always good to have light, always good to have the option at least. Then I'm just adding a couple more plants. I decided to make everything pink. I don't know why, but I felt like that was a nice color for this build. So I used, I think, mostly the debug plants from Cottage Living. So these low-lying flowers that you see there, they're pink and they're from Cottage Living. The rose bush is pink and is from Cottage Living. And the other thing, I don't know what's called in English. In German, it's Fingerhut. It's pink and it's from Cottage Living, so yeah. The other two things that I used for this landscaping was the two, I think, base game. Yeah, I think they're base game. The base game plants and these rocks. I don't know why, but I think the rocks make it look a little bit more natural and unpolished. So I added these all over as well. Oh yeah, and I added another thing later on. I don't know which pack it is from, but it's also a debug, and it was just a little bit higher, so I liked it, so it added a little bit more variation. Here I tried to recreate the thing that they also had in the trailer, which was this wall with varying heights, and I thought it was okay, but I found something much better in debug later on, so I will replace that. But it will look better, I promise. Trying to figure out where to put this trash can. I did find a good place for it in the end. So yeah, just filling in the gaps with the landscaping and drawing on the path as I go along. Yeah, I tried to cover the roof with grass. It didn't work. I mean, it looked okay at first, but then when I went to the edges, it didn't work. I mean, if you have tool mod, maybe it works, but I don't, so yeah. Feel free to fix this. I would love to see it. If you're wondering why I have 1,000 of these low-lying plants there, I just was too lazy to find them in debug every single time, so I just put out like 100 of them. It's not really 100, but a lot of them, and then use them up as I went along. And yeah, here you can see me trying to... Basically what I did was outline an area that I wanted to have plants in it with the low-lying flowers. I sized them down twice because they were very big. And then I filled that area with varying sizes of my 4 flowers, and then I popped in some rocks, and then I popped in the taller thing that I will add later. Oh, it took me forever to find a tree to put in that back corner. I knew that I wanted a tree there, but I didn't want a tree that was too big, and I also didn't want a tree that looked too small. Here I tried to give the wall some dimensions. It didn't work, but I found something better in the end, so just trust the process. Oh yeah, I also added this area so you could grow your own crops. I thought that was a very Hobbit thing to do, to just grow your own crops, or maybe grow your own flowers and use the flower arranging table to do your own bouquets. Oh, that would be so cute. And then I also filled the holes again with some flowers and bushes and niceness. I don't know, pink things. Here I tried to cover the roof with these low-lying bushes from the base game. It looked okay at first, but then I ran into the exact same problem that I did with the grass, is that I cannot do the edges. I thought maybe I could, because the roof is quite a bit away from the house, but because I sized them up so big, it didn't work. Maybe there would be something that you could do without too much to cover this. I don't know. I then added this little table with some seed packets, and I sized them up just to have, to pretend it was a bigger seed packet than it actually is. And I also added this fire pit behind that tree, which is probably not a good idea because fire and tree, not a good combination. But it doesn't work like that in The Sims, so since the tree can't catch fire in The Sims, it doesn't matter, it's fine. Yeah, and then adding more plants around that little lake area and rocks. And then I put some terrain paint underneath the fire pit. Honestly, at this point, I didn't really know what else to put in this area. I knew that I wanted this area that I'm doing right now to be fenced in, but I wanted it to be curved. But it didn't work the way that I thought it would work. So I just went to debug to find a fence that was round. But doing this, I just found the rock wall that I just put in the back that I think looks a lot better than the thing that I had there previously. But please tell me what you think. And here I'm adding the fence. I know it's not perfect, but I think it looks okay-ish. It looks better than it would have if it was completely round, in my opinion. So I just did it like that, even though it's imperfect. And I used this little front terrace area to put in even more skills, just the playing area and the easel. And then filling up this space with some foliage as well. I did decide to turn the wall around because I thought, I don't know, I thought it looked better that way. And then just filling that again with plants, rocks, and the tall thingy from debug. I don't know what it's called. Oh yeah, I also added some lanterns to the weeping willow because I thought that looked so magical, and I added this random fallen over tree thingy just for some extra detail and clutter. Then I of course also filled that little gap with some planties. And then I tried to find something for that little area that is still left untouched, and I ended up putting a rod there, which in my mind is a picnic blanket. In the game it is not really a picnic blanket, but I'm just gonna ignore that and pretend. Because I don't have a functional picnic blanket with the expansion packs that I own. And then I also put a little picnic basket on top of the rug to basically indicate what it is. And we're adding more plants. If you were to buy this house and you were on a budget, you would be very grateful that I used all of these debug plants, because I don't know how expensive this house would have been if I had used plants that you have to pay for, because I used quite a lot of them. Here I'm just putting terrain paint underneath everything, basically as a shadow, and just outlining the walkway with dirt as well. Alright, so if you would like to download this build, you totally can. All you have to do is head to the gallery and type in my username, which is Purina, the same as on YouTube, and then you will find this. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe and maybe give some other videos a try. I'm really grateful that you gave me a chance and watched this video to the end. And I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope to see you soon again. Bye bye!